Hey guys, it's Marius. Um, I'm gonna share with you my the rest of my story, or I'm gonna start from the beginning. And basically, you guys know that I was in a house fire when I was 8.5 years old. My dad was angry one night, and he was drunk and decided to grab a gas can and lock the doors with me, my mom, and himself in there. And my parents were arguing, and I tried to jump to my parents. And once I did that, my dad saw that and threw gas right in the middle of where I was jumping, and I fell down. I fell unconscious, and after that, I don't remember much. I don't remember pain. I don't remember feeling anything. All I wanted to do was to survive, and I saw that there was two windows right there, and I crawled up to it, and I broke those two windows and jumped out of the house. And I was crawling halfway up, to the gate, and my neighbor found me laying on the ground or crawling, and he picked me up, put me in his house, and called the ambulance, got help, went back to try to help with the fire. And yeah, and during this time, my brother Yanuts, he was in Italy working, and my sister was with her boyfriend. They're both older than me, and anyway, I go rushing to the hospital, and I woke up after 2 weeks in a coma, and I didn't know that I was burned, but I mean, I couldn't see that I was burned, but I knew I was because of how much pain it was going through all my body. I knew something was happened. My hands were all covered up, my legs were, so I couldn't see them. And, eventually I found out that, I was burned over 75% of my body. I've lost my fingers and my nose. And, time goes by, and later on, during all this time, though, I've been wanting to see my parents because I haven't seen them. It's probably been like 2 months, and this time I've been asking, can I see them? And everybody's saying no, they're in another hospital, they're getting treatment somewhere else, they're just down the hall, they're making up excuses, and every time I asked. And finally, around Mother's Day, I asked to go see my parents, and because I wanted to give my mom a real flower rose. And one of my aunts told me that both of my parents passed away in the house fire that night. And I was so sad and scared when I heard that, because all that time I was just wanting to see them. I wanted to do something fun, and now I had nothing to go back to. I didn't really have anything else to go to. And I had a fort that kind of went over my bed, so the blankets didn't touch me, but I could go under. And I hid in that fort for about 2 weeks. I didn't want to eat or drink anything. The nurses, they told me that if I didn't drink or eat, that they would either force a tube up my nose so I could eat, or they put an IV in my, in me so I could get fluids because I wasn't getting enough. And after a while, after those like 2 weeks, though, 2 girls from America, they came down. They were in Romania for an abroad. And they came to visit my hospital and heard everything that has happened. Lost my nose. I was burned 75% of my body. My fingers were gone. And during all this time, we became really good friends. And we started they kind of started cheering me up with music and candies, and they just made it a little bit better. And I started forgetting about the pain that I was going through and about my parents. And a lot of things were happening. A lot, like one time, because we were building such a great relationship. On my birthday, they came with balloons, stickers, candy, like threw me a party basically. And And one time though, just to show you the relationship, one boy in the hospital was really rude and mean to me, and he would call me a monster every time he saw me or stick his tongue out at me. And I told Jessica and Ashley that, and they told me, they were like, the next time he says that, tell him that you have 2 American girlfriends. And what does he have? So I told him that. I told this kid, and I was 8.5 years old, and the kid, he was same around my age, and I told him that. And after that, he stopped bothering me, and I always called Jessica and Ashley my 2 American girlfriends. And we built such an awesome relationship. And I was little, and I would sometimes smack them on the butt because I don't know, I was like, this is, and it really kind of cheered, I don't know, they brought laughter out of me, and I had fun in it, and I forgot about the pain that I was having mentally and physically. And it was so cool that happened. And after a while though, they told me they have actually started talking to their families here in America to see what else they could do to help me out. And they started talking to their parents here, to my brother who was 18 at the time, Yanuts, and they're talking about what needs to happen. And the first thing that needed to happen was I needed to find a hospital that was willing to treat me. And after months and months of looking, they were able to find Shriners Hospitals for Children in LA, which was a burn unit, and they said that they would do all my surgeries at no cost. And so that was perfect. Boom. Next plan was to bring me to America. So, that's never really happened, especially since I was burned. So what they had to do was raise money, get me a passport, have my brother, who was 18, adopt me or become my legal guardian, so that way we could go to America. And again, my brother, he was on a rough path as well, because he wasn't adult material, like he was barely 18, and he had to we had change his hair, everything. Then he became my legal guardian, and we had a translator, Teo Rocavano, and she came with after everything, we translated everything, got all the paperwork, passports. Then after 9 months, we were able, me, my brother, Teo, were able to get on a plane, which was the first time that I've ever gotten on a plane before. And it was amazing because, well, okay, to tell you the funny thing, I've never been in a car, first of all, and so when I got in the car, I was super excited because I was looking around like we're in the city. I was born on a farm, in a tiny little farm, and so that was super cool to me. But when I got on the plane, I was so scared. I was so scared because this thing flies, like this thing's heavy. So we started, getting, off the ground, started taking off, and I kind of got excited a little bit. I didn't know. My brother Yanuts, he looks over and tells me, Marius, if you keep on doing that, the plane is gonna start tilting and we're gonna fall and crash. So you gotta stop doing that. And oh my gosh, I just stopped instantly, and I didn't do anything for probably about 3 minutes until Teo, she told me, our translator, she told me, she was like, Marius, you don't need to worry about this, because she's flown before, and my brother too, because from Italy to Romania, they fly, and she's like, Marius, you don't need to worry, it's okay, the plane is just fine. You can jump up and down and go to the bathroom, eat snacks, And so after that, it was okay. But man, it was the coolest thing, looking out the window, seeing the oceans, and it was amazing. I got to America, after 25 hours or however long that flight was, and Jessica and Ashley and both of their families were there, and at the airport, and I was so excited, and I didn't know, because I still didn't speak English, right? And so I was in a wheelchair. My brother was pushing me, and I was looking around, and everybody's Marius, 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 and they couldn't pronounce my name right, Marius, 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 and it was pretty funny. And I was just a little kid, man. I was so tiny. Like I was like 70, 80 pounds. I was a little kid, and I was scared. People brought signs and bears and toys and everything, and man, it was amazing. Um, and after that, I stayed with the Free family for a year, with Jessica's family for a year. That's where I learned English. I learned kind of a little bit about America. I went to SeaWorld, horseback riding, Disneyland. I did all, a kid to kind of break, because during that time I was in Romania for 9 months straight in the hospital. My legs were so badly burned that I couldn't walk, and my ankles, they locked. So my job when they were working on the passports and doing all that was to basically work out my legs to be able to walk. So I would have to, if I lowered my legs lower than like my body, basically, because I lay down, if I lowered them lower, they would start shooting blood out of them, like just out of everywhere. So I had to get the skin strong enough every time. I would keep putting lower and lower, build those veins, get the muscles going. And then after I got them, then my next thing was to start walking. So every time I put just a little bit of pressure, same thing. So I had to start working out those muscles on my legs so the skin wouldn't break and get stronger. And it was a lot of work. I had to put in a lot of pain. Another thing, the doctors there, they actually stopped giving me pain medication, because they were afraid I was going to get addicted. So during that time, I wasn't really getting much, and I just had to kind of bear through the pain, through everything. It was, but yeah, it was so nice to get out of that hospital, go see SeaWorld live. There's life, horses, dolphins, fishes. Everything was so new and beautiful and strange. I just loved it, and I love it now. But after that, everybody actually got a big surprise, because my brother and Janusz and Ashley, the other girl, they were talking during this time, and during this year I was in Arizona, and they started falling in love. So my girlfriend Ashley, I was living with with my other girlfriend Jessica's family. My other girl Ashley, girlfriend, her and my brother started flirting, and they fell in love, they got engaged, and eventually got married. And my joke is that my brother stole my girlfriend Ashley, which is pretty funny. But like, my brother stole my girlfriend. It's all right. But yeah, they fell in love, they got married, and after that, her family, Ashley's family, was like, what if we adopt Marius? And that'd be super cool. So they asked me if I wanted to get adopted, and I got adopted, and I moved down to California. And after I moved down to California, I hung out a little bit more, got used to school, and then right after, I started getting surgeries. I needed to get surgeries. That was why I was here, the big thing. And now this is big time. So the first surgery before, I actually did it in Arizona, and my eyelids were stuck up like this, and I couldn't blink. So the first surgery was they had to take skin, which they took behind my ear and somewhere else, I believe, and put it around my eyes so I could start blinking again. And that was good, because I was a kid, and they're like, you didn't know. They asked me, like, let's do something fun with him, and they're like, where would you want me to take skin from? And I was like, behind my ears, because when I was littler, my ears, see, this one doesn't bend, but they used to stick out a lot. And so I told them to take skin from behind my ear and put it there. So that was like our first to get me used to surgeries and have fun. And that was it. And after that, we decided to work on my hands, my mouth, because my lips are super pulled out like this. And they took skin graft, put it from my arm, put it around my mouth. My next one was my nose. I got like one of those nasty things on my lips. You guys get those all the time, probably. I don't know if you do. I do. Okay, anyway. But yeah, they took skin from my arm, put it here. My nose was another thing that they worked on, because again, it was burned off halfway. So what they did was take a piece of my rib, put it on my nose, take skin from my head, and bring it down, cut it, bring it down. And for a whole month, I didn't have any skin covering my scalp. My whole, you know, they shaved off my hair, and it was connected to my nose like that for a whole month. So 2, 3, 4 times a day, I had to do it a lot. I had bandages. I had to change those bandages about like a lot of times a day, because I couldn't have it dry, because I had a, you know, a lot of things could have gone wrong. And I kept doing that, and then in the middle of the night I would wake up with those bandages halfway sliding down my face, and I'd go to my mom, Lynn Woodward, and ask her to help me change those bandages, put new ones on, help me fix them, and went back to bed. And that my nose took 3 surgeries. So that was the one with the rib. Second one was they cut the skin, put the skin back, and they took skin graft to cover the piece that was missing. And they took that one, I think, from my leg. And the third one, they went back in and kind of cleaned out the skin and did the laser surgery, so my hair wouldn't grow as much hair. Because during that like time, it was growing so much hair that I started calling my pet, and I would start petting it, but there was so much hair on it. It was like my head hair, and it was just and I was like, my pet. You know. Oh man, it was good times. Painful. Yeah, well, yeah. And then after that, we went to total hand transplants. I'm sorry, I'm talking a lot. I am talking so much. I'm bored. I have nothing to do. But my next one was my hands, because I didn't have fingers. It was just a paddle. And after that, I got they separate. You know, they took toes from my feet and put them on my hands, so I could grab things again. But you know, it was a lot of work. That one I can go more into detail. All my surgeries, I could go a lot more into detail, but I'm just gonna leave it off because I'm getting super hot in here. I'm sweating. I'm in my car, and I should be at the right there, but it's a nice view. Anyway, I would love to share more with you guys. Like, share, love this video, and I'll come back and do more. But yeah.